Well, anyway, the first thing is that for an infrazygomatic, it's just so important to use this little tiny drill you guys have to go in there and make a little purchase point. It can go, you can go up to maybe almost a millimeter deep if you want, but you don't have to go quite that deep. Just make a good purchase point so that when you go in with the Temporacus device, with the TAD, it won't skid, because that's one place it just skids. It's hard to get a good angle on it. And the bone, and when you're trying to put that little TAD in there, it's easy to skid all over, and that can cause all sorts of damage to the tissue and swelling afterwards and pain and bleeding. So it's really good to go in with this. It's so important to just make a little purchase point. That's on the infrazygomatic one. That's one place that's really important. It's not important in most places in the maxilla, but it is really important in the infrazygomatic ones, because you're inside the tissue enough you can't even see the bone, and it's easy for it to skid all over. And you never want to use a high speed. You don't ever want to use a high speed handpiece or a drill to make that purchase point. You use this. This works great. It's slow and it doesn't wrap the tissue up. So that's the key on that. It doesn't make the tissue wind around the handpiece, the burr, and that which is really the worst thing ever. Now this other thing.
Do you use that? Have you used that very
thicker,
often?
So this one I've used on the infrazygomatic all the time.
Okay.
Now this other one, which is a thicker one right there, this one doesn't really necessarily have so much to do with TADs, as it just has to do with tooth movement. What this one's for is if you disturb the cortical plate of bone a little bit, and especially the periosteum, if you disturb it by like nicking it or just making a little hole through the periosteum, what it does, it kicks the bone into this bone healing mechanism. It's called the RAP, Regional Acceleratory Phenomena, where the teeth will move up to 4 times faster than normal for about 6 weeks. If you just, if you just disturb the periosteum on the bone and make maybe a little, there's a system called the Wilcodonics. Wilcodonics is Dr. Wilco, or whatever his name is. There's 2 dentists. One of them is a periodontist, one's an orthodontist, and they call their system Wilcodonics, and they're the ones who advocate certain ways where you take the gums and you'll flap them, and then you'll go and you'll groove a little bit in the bone, certain places, and then you put the flaps back in. You can also do bone grafts, and then you can move teeth unbelievably fast for a while, like up to about 6 weeks you can move teeth really fast, because the bone kicks into this bone healing mechanism where it's trying to heal the bone, and it activates all this calcium and just changes the whole system, so you can really move teeth fast. So that's why Jack put that in the kit. And it's not necessarily just something for temporary devices. It's just something to accelerate the movement of teeth.
Okay, so that, that sounds like a system that just came out, Propel. Have you heard of that?
Propel? Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
It's
like Wilcodonics.
Well, it sounds like what you're describing.
Yeah.
They do a couple little, it accelerates the movement of teeth by just putting a few little purchase points.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it's a disposable.
Okay.
And so you keep buying this
One
type
of those.
piece.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's called Propel.
Yeah, Propel. No, I hadn't. That's interesting. But yeah, no, I just heard about it from Wilcodonics, and then Jack put that in there for that. So it isn't something that's necessarily has to be part of the Temporacus device kit, but it's just that it fits in here nice, and you can use it.
No, that's good. Jack worked with our engineers.
Yeah.
So he described the type of system that he wanted.
Yeah.
And we just developed it.
Yeah.
But it's things like that that maybe have gotten forgotten.
Yeah, this one could easily be forgotten. But it's so simple.
And it's so interesting because the Propel is, I'm going to these meetings and the Propel is coming out.
Yeah.
And that's a good
this is
thing
what
to
this
know.
does, and only this one's so nice
and it's not
simple.
Disposable.
It's not disposable, and it's not high speed where it's out of control. It just easily just put a little groove in there. You can go right through the tissue, and then just kind of wind it a few times, make a little groove, and that accelerates the tissue, accelerates the movement of teeth through bone. And now, so anyway, So anyway, I just want to make those 2 points. The one is that is so important to make that little purchase point with this. And it's so beautiful to do it because it's slow speed, it's so under control. It's beautiful to use that to make your purchase point. And on the mandible where the bone is thicker, it's nice to go a little bit in there, maybe even up to maybe a millimeter deep with this in the mandible, so you got a really good start on the tad putting it in there. So I use that on the mandible, but not to drill a hole so deep as the screw is going to go in, just to get it started really good. And and I use it at those 2 places, on the mandible and then on the infrazygomatic one. And then this is, of course, the new thing that's going to be pretty cool. This won't drop the screw. That's pretty neat. Oh, yeah, there it is. It won't drop the tad, and so that makes it kind of slick. So I'm gonna.
As an immediate release.
Yeah, immediate release, and you can put it on there really nice, and you can release it really easily. So that's going to be cool.
Use any of these other pieces? I know one part was put in.
These 3 things I haven't used. Yeah.
One is I think that if you had.
See, this is just a short one of this long one here. You know, of this. It's the same thing, only it's short, and it fits in this. But I haven't really. I guess it fit. No, I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't fit in that. This fits in a handpiece. Oh, this is if you wanted to use it in a slow-speed handpiece, and I just haven't ever done that, so I mean, you need it. That's what this is for too. If you want to use it in a slow-speed handpiece, yeah, that's right.
So we could do away with those parts.
As far as for me, you can.
Yeah, well, I know that they're already saying to go, typically like steer away from that.
Because like I was saying, I like using it with a hand. With a hand, it's so slow and nice and under control. With a high speed, it's out of control, and it winds up the tissue too easy. And so I have never really used those. And then actually,
I think that piece is a part. I think if
you can put the tad in there. If you got an area where you can't fit something long like that, you can do the short one. That's what it's for. In other words, the little screw. You just put that in there, I think, and then if you can't really get this long tool in there, you can get in certain areas you might not be able to get a long one in. I haven't actually had to use that yet, so I knew it was there, but I haven't had that.
Well, that makes sense because I know some kits and other systems competitors use the Contra.
Yeah. They're talking about hand pieces. That's what this goes in. This goes in the Contra. There's a tip to the handpiece that's either a straight angle or a contra angle. This goes in the contra angle handpiece, and that's what this is made for a contra angle handpiece. For the tip on the handpiece,
I think, I know that
it's a slow speed.
That they got a lot of folks. I think they included a piece for if people had the GAC system. Mandavi, that system, and it was.
Well, these right here, if you were going to use a contra angle handpiece, I can show you one. It's a slow speed handpiece that has it. It goes around a corner like that, and you just put these in it, and then you run the handpiece. But I've never really needed them, so I haven't ever used them. I don't need the handpiece.
Yes, that was very, very helpful because we are in the midst of having meetings at the manufacturing facility and seeing what, if we were going to redo this, what would we leave in, what would we take out?
Yeah.
I just, I learned a huge thing here today with the weltodonics piece, what you said, and I think that is so fascinating because the propel, is just really kind of like the new thing right now, and it's disposable. And so you have this part in there.
And so now let me show you.